Greetings and salutations, all you beautiful individuals. You best believe it is another epi of League Unlock, and it is a look back type of episode as we head towards the end of 2025. We are looking at the 25 best plays from the last year. Get it, 2025 and 25. Yes, absolutely ingenious. But we're going to do this in two parts, kind of break through. There were a lot of plays, highlights to go through, depending on if you have a completely broken champion or it was just an individual highlight accolade to get through. And we might as well just dive right into some of these lists. Number 25 at the bottom of the table is where we are beginning, and been in a side lane embarrassing people in the grand finals seems like a pretty good way to start the list.
And this matchup is yet to be impacted.
Oh my god, Hong is staying. He has been here for the last 45 seconds.
All right, I mean, committed to it this long, it's got to bear some sort of fruit. They're going to bring the maiden out here, try to play space, use that play place to find something, put the Magnet Storm into the crash out, flashes away for the public execution, and then drops the play place to put 369 and Hong in timeout, but Bin actually wants to turn this. Hong very low, has to flash away from the maiden. Bin's trying to chase him down to throw the shovel into him, and he's going to pick up first blood. Bin going to TP out because 369 can't stop him. What an outplay for Bin!
We get a Q stun. We get all of it.
Use it now. Use it.
Where is 369, brother? We're waiting way too long. It is going to be Bin at least getting himself a kill. He loses both of his summoner spells, so I mean, if I'm trying to be a top esports advocate, I'm asking for maybe there's a play future, but he's even getting plates in mid now.
I'm asking for a game 3 if I'm a top esports advocate.
There you go. Sometimes all it takes is the little pixel forward flash to completely escape a gank and have a complete turnaround. But that was definitely a couple of threes rolled on that Mbessa ulti. Onwards to number 24, and NA is used to being on the other end of these highlights, but this time, how about an LCS face of the league, now actually turned LEC, styling on the Western GOAT, even when he's on a perhaps slightly overtuned champion.
As you say, it does cost him one flash. Now Busio in the middle. Nice play coming out from LeBron, and immediately broken blade looking to slam Busio back into the ball. But Busio with a two-man stun, ready to set it up as Cap goes between worlds. Busio gets away underneath the turret. The tempered fade is perfect. Inspired, needing one more hit. LeBron, he'll get the kill. Busio stays alive. Inspired about to die to Hans Sama. There's dead bodies on both sides as Quad keeps chasing Hans. Getting away from an Aurora is definitely a feat. And he like quick channels his recall in the middle there, but they have Quad and Inspired coming over, and again a Senna ultimate over the top. That Senna ultimate was just enough, and Caps tries to follow him under the tower here with the double ultimate, and then right after he comes out, Caps goes for the Q and flashes.
It's 07 to Mr. Busio as he leaves the lands of North America to go over and make more highlight reel plays like this against Caps more often as he plays over in Europe. 23 on the list. It's just another Korean AD carry, absolutely smurfing in the LPL, but this isn't the one you are used to hearing about after debating 369, sorry to be on this list again on the other side, and the rest of top esports. Taeyoon proves he's plenty moisturized as he does everything he can to avoid Creme.
Now 369 thinks that he spotted a crocodile out of water.
Dominus popped by Cube. Monkey and Taeyoon show themselves with the surprise, and Taeyoon will commit onto 369. Creme, the Fate Seal is dodged by a great flash by Taeyoon, and now Creme might have overextended his welcome, baited in by the rest of his teammates. WE turned the tables on top esports.
And this is just a really great bait by WE. 369 is like, it's just a Renekton, no big deal, I've got 3 people holding me up, and then all of a sudden, solo isolated Akaki and Rain. Taeyoon, look at this flash over the Fate Sealed after he's dodged Q3 from Creme as well.
Such a treat to see high-level Kaisa completely embarrassing opponents across the rift. Number 22, we roll on It Ain't No The Spy on this one as TheShy gets bored against Thundertalk and decides to turn a 4v5 into an oh-so-unlikely pentakill, probably purely to spite his buddy Rookie who dies a little too early.
A lot has changed about Octacon, but the damage is still very real. As the Equalizer comes across, JJ's going to secure it as the Shy's flying in all by himself with Mako. Hero's Entrance going to land, and Satab is alone. He's cold and asking for help desperately on the top side of this fight. But Thunder Talk are finding ways to get the first pick down onto Rookie. But look at one Xana Hoya's health bars. They can't step up towards Gala, who does have to burn his cleanse.
TheShy?
And TheShy finally finds a window, breaks open the door, and kicks down Thunder Talk. A triple kill with the snap of a finger. Satab desperately trying to kite back with this rise, get the Root Prisms down, but no, it's not enough. Guess what it is? A TheShy Penta kill. He kind of liked the Thunder Talk slow approach. They got some good damage out of Octacon. This Equalizer gets value, but it's TheShy,
I mean,
man.
not only is it TheShy, but like, where is the rest of my team? Right? Xiaohongren is actually hitting on the top side next to the Otacon. We're incredibly split up here. And maybe the back end of this chase does look good. You see a lot of low HP members. I think it's very playable. This cleanse coming out from Gala makes a huge difference. And then TheShy sees the angle. Thornbound Otacon explosion 1, 2, and then 3. Continues to find the rest of them. Great damage follow-up, and I feel like that might just be the nail in the coffin here in this game.
So first TheShy ulties in 1v4, and then he proceeds to flash again in 1v4, but this time it nets him a Penta, and he almost gets a smile out of himself for it, and that's just a little bit of Gala being channeled into him. Number 21 now, for a guy known for shining on carry champions, your boy Kiin sure has a lot of Sion outplays in his career. You throw in a little BDD Yone show at Worlds, and oh baby, you got yourself the 21st best play of the year.
They don't have a tank to face check for the support to run behind, and they also don't have something like a Rakan decimating smash onto Cuz, caught out with that lack of vision. Kiin with the roar of the Slayer finds his mark. BDD forced away towards the top side. Peter having to flash Doctam underneath the tower. Pop Blossom from Peter will distract the rest of Gen G. Cannon's going to go into the Guardian Angel, but the Angel's on his shoulder. Might be enough. Fate sealed from BDD onto the backline. They'll look for Ruler. Kiin flashes. Get down, Mr. Ruler, as he blocks the shot from the ace in the hole. Decimating smash again. Perfect looking for more. BDD going in with the Mortal Strike 3. Tries to get onto Ruler. The damage doesn't tick. Ruler still stands a Kiin. BDD finds another Ruler down. Just the mid lane is left alive. BDD versus Chobi. We've seen it so many times over the years.
Now, we did allude to Gala just recently about the lack of smiles and all the cuts to him after he makes an amazing play, and well, he may not have been yucking it up in the middle of the season. I will say he truly did not want to be denied a spot at Worlds 2025, even if that only meant playing an extra series against T1, but after helping secure a Baron with a nearly dead Wei, he decides to put on his moon boots and glide over the entire JDG lineup to help even up the series.
The Ren stacks are huge here. They can be the difference maker. Is he going to come over the pit? It's going to be smoked by Wei. They get the Baron, but now they're going to lose Rookie on the back end of it. Gala is trying to step forward, trying to get some of these kills onto Peyz. He's going to flash. He's going to dash. He's going to pull the Ren down. He's going to get another kill. Gala has stepped up. He's gone Super Saiyan for IG, but he gets out of the grand entrance again. And Gala, the ADC that IG needed. 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 damage on the Kalista.
You know, one extra bomb goes in there, it could have been a disaster. But Gala, all you need to look at is this Kalista dodging, dancing, diving away from everything. Just raining hellfire down onto the carries, and the second that he knows who his target is, you can see the second stasis is coming out of. He's ready to auto-scout down.
I truly wonder how the WASD game mode is going to affect champions like Kalista, because the gliding there is absolutely nutty, and how is it going to completely change or be easier or harder on Kalista when they add in this new easy mode button for kiting? Very curious how that's going to end up playing out. But we roll on to number 19 on this list, and let me tell you, even after you leave the T1 organization and pedigree, that championship blood red stays in your veins, and we got a sighting of it as it was unleashed by Canna Gnar in the Winter Finals when he slammed G2 out of first stand contention and into the very next split.
how do you try and force this? Targamas has a great flank position here.
But let's see, because Dragon's not done yet. Great ulti from Yike as well. Death Sentence on the Dragon, but it's again the Smite King of Winter. Oh my God! Korean Jackal! Blow G2 apart!
Canna, that was unbelievable! You just connected a 5-man ulti onto G2 and wiped them off the map!
Holding on to Canna, I hope you are now.
This was unbelievable. The knockup from Targamas, the ulti from Canna, and look at the storm. It wipes away G2.
There's the nice smile that we all love to see when somebody makes an amazing play. And well, this next play isn't quite a 5-man maneuver like we saw out of Canna. There are certain combos and synergies that require pixel-perfect team coordination, and they often come from the unlikeliest of places, Q, Hong, and Creme's Blossom Realm.
At the minute, he just doesn't have what it takes.
Rest of top esports now getting aggressive into anyone's
going in. Realm Warp, Realm Warp.
Here comes the Realm Warp.
Beautiful!
Awesome! Perfect frame! Pop Blossom delivered by the Realm Warp of Creme! This is top esports in their peak form and at the right time!
Creme riding on the coattails of Hong there, sends the Realm Warp up, and the Pop Blossom is beautiful. It is timed to perfection, and it sends AL's game 1 to a 28-minute grave.
Yeah, that game was, 10k gold deficit completely over at that point. So maybe it doesn't deserve to be quite as high as it was, but I'm a sucker for these amazing team synergistic plays. So big shout out to Hong and Creme for being able to come together on that one. Number 17, you better look away, Europe. The bad man is here to hurt you again. 7 years after the infamous TheShy Aatrox incident, 369 adds another chapter to the darkened diaries of G2 Esports.
G2's got all 5 men nearby. Otacon down to about half HP. Kanavi and Jackie Love still putting the work in onto it. 369 trying to keep everybody else distracted. Caps goes in. Flashback out from 369. The Otacon down to 3,000 HP. The Aatrox keeping everybody distracted now, but he's got to be careful because he's in World Ender, but he's got no flash. Everybody from G2 piling in on 369. The Aatrox won't die fast enough. Sterix Gage pops to keep him alive. Broken Blade is already down. Everybody on G2 is eviscerated. 369 with one last Deathbringer stance. Rips the life out of Broken Blade and stays alive himself.
Look at this. He's just dancing with them. He flashes Caps's engage, and he's like taunting them. Please, please come over here. My team will get the Otacon, and I can stay alive. I have plenty of healing. Redemption comes in. They get the healing over and over and over. The Sundered Sky procs, the ultimate procs. He's on the edge, only a couple of hundred of HP, and he knows the rest of the team can just come trap them. Flowers, the alcove itself is hard CC.
Kind of the perfect example of when an immovable object meets an unstoppable force when you're talking about throwing around Otacon and chasing somebody in an alcove, especially a top laner who just used their flash. So G2 falls hook, line, and sinker for both of them, doesn't kill the Aatrox, doesn't get the Otacon, loses the game, and if you recall, this probably impacted them even later in the tournament because that top esports, the very same as the one they ultimately lose to in the quarterfinals. That was merely the Swiss stage showdown that they had. So yes, the LPL versus Europe, again, adds another page of absolute disappointment. On to the Sweet 16, fearless, frightening, and frankly unbelievable. All good choices to describe the rookie French phenom Caliste, who made his presence known from his very first stage game. We're talking dodging Lullaby's nets, and his wanted levels of Mystic Shot curvature had him one Braum Shield away from probably being even higher on this list.
Oh wait, are in positions where Shen can follow, but now Caliste.
Boy, almost getting swell seeded. Skumon doesn't have flash available, but Blue Smite comes in. Caitlyn ulti, ace in the hole, and Caliste running out only just. Canna's now here. Skumon caught out his flash again. Burnt before. Good knockup from Targamas. Pulverized into the wall and snipped down by the Seamstress. Caliste picks up the kill while Canna is getting free hit by Hansama, who stacked up lethal tempo. Caliste jumps in! What balls on this kid? Onto LeBron, the ulti block, but there's the Weaver's wall.
1700 gold lead dagger. We're going to run through this again because Skumon tries to set up for the kill on this guy.
Yeah, and you can see here, it's the fact that Canna comes out of the bush means that Skumon has to run away. Targum is then Flash, ult are getting that pulverize combo onto Skumon. And here I was like, okay, it's completely over. But Caliste going for it. So the fact that he ends up landing the Essence Flux, then he gets the E4, so you get the automatic refund.
For real though, even down to the very first arcane shift that gets him out of that lilting lullaby, if he doesn't time that as perfectly as he does, he's blown up instantly and there's no outplay to even be had throughout this. So mega shout out to Caliste, mega shout out to Carmine Corp for making sure that they kept this guy on the roster and was not poached away to G2 or some other bigger organization in EU, because really now KC is one of the biggest and premier orgs within the LEC. We're on to number 15, and Gala's 9k damage Kalista team fight, that was pretty nice, but how about over 10k while simultaneously ripping the souls out of the entire Weibo lineup? Here's just one reason why T1 is probably very happy with their new AD carry for 2026.
Oh, can you feel game number 3? It's looming.
No, not with that. Timbers from Xiaohu. He just whipped his entire combo. Scout gets out. They're going to lose the Infernal Drake for this, the no soul. But Peyz is hunting. Fate's call once more. Peyz is in front of all of Weibo. Who can finally shut down this Kalista? He's dashing all around the bailout. It comes through. How does Peyz do it? He's a miracle worker. This guy is an absolute wizard. And he's decimating Weibo again. This time, it's finally over. I'll say it. Peyz is at the top of the LPL, and he's trying to rip JDG up with him.
Oh my lord, that is one of the sexiest plays I've seen in a while.
Again, the Kalista kiting when your attack speed is that high is actually laughable. It looks so janky and kind of like a bug with how quickly she's hopping around. But the bailout there, absolute perfection out of Peyz, and this guy continues to just have such eye-popping outplays in team fights, coming up with kills and moments that you didn't even think were possible. Nobody else would have even seen the angle or believed that they'd be surviving that. Probably have the hands above the keyboard a little bit quicker, but Peyz, even on that disappointing JDG lineup time and time again, no shortage of highlight reel plays to pull from him during his 1 year time in the LPL. Somebody else who's been on JDG and had some LPL highlights comes in at the 14th spot, and the only reason we didn't get a Game 5 in the LCK Summer Finals was some Herculean, or dare I say, Gumayushi-esque Baron control out of Ruler Xayah. He got multiple objective steals in Game 4, but we're here to highlight the very nicest of all of them.
Duro just fishing for a hook. He wants to get one of these carries. He so desperately needs to. He really does, but I don't know if he's going to have an option. The culling is just used to zone. Delights in stealth as well. Duro looking for some kind of hook. They want to access that backline, but the peel is insane. Canyon getting on in, goes into his G, and then boom, hook Zeka though. As maybe that's enough. They try to come into a flamer. But Ruler will not be denied these objectives. And he's full health. He just keeps getting them. But it might have just saved the game. He's able to secure the Baron. Zay is desperately on the chase here with Viper following up and Delight.
Instead, he's just desperately giving kills over to Ruler.
It's the play from Ruler here on top of, like, Canyon sacrifices, but the grab onto Zeka is massive because that's a lot of damage gone here. And then when Ruler's able to secure the Baron with this ult from Chovy as well to deny any sort of follow-up, now, even though Delight gets one reset, they just cannot teamfight without Zeka.
He barely even had any feathers placed down around that Baron pit. So I'm not entirely sure how Ruler ended up coming away with that Baron steal and then just adding a little. I've never seen a Xayah shred an Ornn so quickly afterwards, but that was truly one of the best games of the year out of Ruler. And again, should have been a Game 5 in that LCK Finals, and who knows how it plays out from there. But Ruler wasn't having any of it in that fourth game. Final play of part 1 of our top 25 plays from 2025. We're talking the God of Thunder, and that name fits so perfectly with Jayce, even though it's kind of more shock or lightning that he's shooting. But there's just something about the bot lane outer turret that seems to level Zeus to another realm of outplay possibility, and unfortunately, Kiin and the boys at Nongshim were the ones suffering on the other side.
On the top side, oh god, Kiin actually trading quite nicely here as the needlework going to be avoided. Gideon's making his way down though, and the Impale will be moved out of the way of, and now Zeus is going to turn it. This time no flash for Gideon, and this Jayce is just too good. The Realm Warp does come in, and now they're still in trouble. How is Zeus going to outplay this? That's the question I have on my mind. The answer is, I guess we just shoot him a bunch of times. As down goes the Gwen, he's immortal.
In the space here against the Gwen, waits for the mist, hits the shock blast, transforms, goes in for a bit of a trade here. And then, most importantly of all here, look at this sidestep on the Impale. Goes low. This is a picture as Peanut counter gank, right? He shows up on time. And then, Calix is here. What are we going to do? How are we going to outplay this? Waits for this Gwen to close the gap. Peanut zoning as they try to clear the wave here. Gets the transformation in. Spaces perfectly.
You can visibly see the tilt on Kiin's face after that play, as he is the latest, again, to suffer at the hands of the God of Thunder, of Zeus himself. And truthfully, I think you could put side to side, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. You put that Jayce play on Hanwha Life right side by side, the Yone outplay from, what was it? I think it was the 2022 World Champion, his first Worlds, where he outplays JDG themselves in that bot lane, and the sidestepping is so similar between those two plays. So Zeus still got it a few years later, and a team later. You know he's ultimately always going to be on a list like this, and this is just part one. We're just warming up here. We got 12 more plays that we're going to get to in part two. We're talking wombo combos, pentakills, base race type backdoors, closing things out. Some of the most iconic names in LoL esports are hanging out in the top 12, as well as some squads or some players that you maybe wouldn't anticipate being so high up on this list, but no shortage. You could have probably done a top 50 and still easily hit world-class plays throughout. That's how elite gameplay was in 2025. But that is all the time today for League Unlocked. Thank you to all you absolutely stunning individuals for hanging out and supporting the channel as always. Make sure you know that we appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out, and you best believe we will catch you on that flippity flip.